morning. Welcome to this refreshing jolt this time, and it comes to us from 1 Corinthians 8, verse 2 says, "And if any man think that he knows anything, he knows nothing yet as he ought to know." And that's kind of demeaning, right? I mean, like that's like belittling, like God, the Holy Spirit. Paul is telling us things like that. He's basically saying, you think you know anything? You know nothing. And that's like, you really have to talk to me like that this early morning? Like, what do you mean by that? Is that a good message for me? Is that how I want to think? But think about it. To grow in understanding, first we need to say, I'm ignorant. Because if I think I have taken such a good grasp and nobody could explain anything to me about it, I know everything, then I will not receive, right? Nobody can fill me in more, of course. But when I can say, no, I'm ignorant of this thing, give me more, I need to learn more, then there's a seeking, there is a hunger, there is a desire for more. I become teachable, and that's like a beautiful thing in our lives. So the first thing is to admit that, no, I don't know it as I ought to. I wish I had known it better. And there's so much in our lives where we can say that. Reminds me of that story when this believer was reading his Bible, and he was obviously puzzled about something, and the pastor passed by and he said, I can see you're troubled by something. What is going on? He says, Pastor, I don't understand this verse. And the pastor said, which one is it? I can explain it to you. To which the brother went, explain. I too can explain it. I just don't understand it. And this is like the difference between understanding in a way that means something and understanding it in a way that I can explain it. Okay, and that's not the purpose of life here. That's not why we are here. But here is the next point, the next verse, so beautiful. If any man love God, the same is known of him. That's so awesome. If any man loves God, the same is known of him. This is speaking about a knowledge through love, right? Through the love of God. And that's like amazing. That's like awesome. That's where we want to live our lives. That's where we want to experience life. That I look into my future and I have hope. Why? Because I know my future through the love of God. I get to know my brother and my sister through the love of God, not through something else. And that's a better way of getting to know anyone. That really, you cannot find a better way of getting to know someone than through loving God and being loved by God. And that's how I know my brother or my sister. When you have looked in the mirror this morning, or when you will look in the mirror a little later, if you have not gathered the courage yet to do it, then you will look at yourself. And how do you know that person? Through the love of God. I love God, He loves me, and I know myself that way. And that's a beautiful thing to say to yourself. And Paul is doing here again what he will do later in 1 Corinthians 13. He's saying that love is the greater, that there is a certain kind of knowledge, but that love is greater. And then there is a knowledge coming from that love, which is an awesome kind of knowledge, that we are known as lovers of God, that God knows us as people who love Him, and He also proclaims this about us. And this is so wonderful, because if any man love God, the same is known of Him. That's great. That's the way to know. That's the way to learn. That's the way to become more and more understanding our world, our people, everything that surrounds us in this love relationship with God. So thank you for coming along for these simple thoughts, and God bless your day with it, and hope to see you soon again.